Pedri is the next Iniesta. Lamar Jackson is the next Michael Vick. Shohei Ohtani is the next Babe Ruth. And John Moran is the next Derrick Rose. Now, all those comparisons I just made, they were all to a last generation. And why do we say these things? Because they kind of remind us of those people. Pedri being a Barcelona midfielder, it reminds us of Iniesta. Lamar Jackson being a quarterback who runs and throws the ball somewhat like, I'm sorry, I don't really watch American football like that, but I do know I've heard that comparison a lot by analysts and things like that. Shohei Ohtani being a pitcher and a hitter gets compared to Babe Ruth because that's one of the big ones that, who was successful doing that sort of thing. And John Moran right now being so explosive and how he's playing the game right now reminds us of Derrick Rose, pre the unfortunate injury. But in reality, the thing is, these comparisons seem like very harmless. But I don't think we really understand the power that a comparison like that can hold. So that's what I'm going to try to talk about today. And why I think you should stop comparing today's generation with past generations and with future generations. Because we don't know the future, but we do know the past. So, hi, my name is Jevon. Maybe you've met me in real life. Maybe you've seen me on your timeline on Twitter. If not, if this is your first time meeting me, hearing my voice, anything like that, hello. Hope you had a good day today. Hope you've eaten. Hope you're drinking water. Hope you're taking care of yourself. And yeah. So I know I use sports athletes in the example, but I'm using that because for me, I love sports. I like watching football. I'm not talking about American football. I'm talking about, some people call it soccer in America. It's football for me. Basketball. Started recently getting into baseball. And so I'm going to use those as examples, but I want you to know that you can use this for like anything. And I'm sure you know exactly what I mean and how we use comparisons all the time. So I'm going to start for my two examples I'm going to use. I'm going to use a very bright upcoming star right now, and he just so happens to play for my favorite team. So there might be a tad bit of bias. You might sense a little bit of bias, but I'm going to try my best not to include any type of bias in this video. And yeah, so I'm going to be using Pedro Gonzalez, probably known as Pedri. He's 19 years old, plays for FC Barcelona in La Liga, and he also has been called up to the Spain national team. Played for them in Euro 2020/2021 because that's what was played. And he is, his name is in media a lot. He's a bright young kid. Kid's really good at the game. Can't knock him. So, recently, I've been seeing lots and lots of media outlets. Even I've noticed that the team itself has started to call Pedri the next Iniesta. And I understand it. They're both Spanish. They both play for Barcelona. They're both midfielders. And they both have a similar approach to the way the game is played. However, when we do this, I don't think we really realize the comparison on paper and in words is very harmless. It's just saying, oh, Belly's the next one. Yes, that's harmless. Just saying it seems so harmless. However, what it can do, and I notice it does a lot, is create these expectations on what Pedri should be. And I don't think we should be doing that, because that really takes away, you're limiting yourself in viewing how you how you interpret this person and understand them, just because you are comparing them to another person. Now, I fully understand the comparison to Pedri to Iniesta, because yes, they do have a very similar play style. That, all these play for Barca, Spain, Spanish, um, and they play the game similarly. However, we have to understand that Pedri is not the next Iniesta. Pedri is the next Pedri. What I mean by this, I mean that Pedri is going to do what Pedri wants to do, and we have to accept that. There could be a day where Pedri says he doesn't want to play for Barcelona anymore. There could be a day where Pedri doesn't want to play for Spain anymore. There could be a day where he doesn't even want to play anymore. But just because we've set this expectation and this like, just like, okay, he's gonna be the next. He's gotta be like, he's gonna score the World Cup winning goal for Spain, and he's gonna score like many clutch goals for Barcelona, and he's gonna do he's gonna do what he wants to do, and we have to understand that, because that's what makes Pedri Pedri. No one, he's not. Sometimes when you do something like your mother, or your father, you're like, oh, your dad, your old man used to do that back in the day. Like, you're just like him. And that might make you be like, what? I'm not like him. I'm me. Like, you might get offended by it, or you'd be like, oh, that's cool. Either reaction you have is fine. But it shouldn't take away from the fact that it's you being you. We do have parts of them, but we also are ourselves at the same time. So that's what I mean when I don't want you to compare any athlete, any musician, or anything like that to a past generation, because now is now. So what people are like, okay, so who are we supposed to compare him to then? Well, if you want to do a comparison, I would say someone his age. However, again, I don't think you should be comparing him to another person. So I'll show you another person, athlete, that Pedri, I'm not showing, I'm more telling you of another athlete that is, being compared very often to Pedri, is Phil Foden. Phil Foden is around the same age, plays midfield, plays for another big club, Manchester City, played in the Champions League, and he's also on his national team for England. Okay, cool, they're both same age. Oh yeah, perfect. We can do a lot of things. No. Stop. That's where you should stop. Because just because these two individuals, these two athletes are around the same age, doing the same thing, playing the same sport, playing similar positions, playing for big clubs, both of them are doing these things, doesn't mean that they're the same. Phil Foden was not incorporated quickly into that Manchester City squad like Pedri was. Phil Foden was slowly, by year, he worked his way up through the academy, made it to the first team, and then they slowly, put him on the bench, gave him minutes, Then now he's at where he's at now, in the starting lineup for Manchester City, and he's doing very well. I want the kid to do well. I think we should all want anyone to do well. That's important. But you have to, again, he was not rushed into the squad. Pedri, when they bought him, they loaned him out, and then he came back, and then Coleman saw him in practice at this kid's, get him in the squad, and he's been playing game after game after game after game. Like, he's become a very important, integral part to the way Barcelona is redefining themselves and discovering their identity once again, because of his play style and how he plays. Now, you were like, oh, you only know this because you only support Barca, but that's just, I think anyone who supports these stars should know that, is that, they both have their own paths. We all have different paths. So while it seems harmless to compare the two, in reality, we're like, okay, then who's better? But we shouldn't be trying to see who's better, because one has accomplished things with his team already because he was already integrated to a successful team. Manchester City is one of the most dominant teams in English football right now. And, because of that, Phil Foden's been able to have Premier League winning medals and has played in a Champions League final, has played in a for England. He played in the Euro 2020/2021 final already at such a young age. So he has this experience. That's great. That's great. That's awesome to have. And then you're like, oh, that automatically makes Foden better. No, it doesn't. I mean, if that's what you think, it makes him better because he's done all these things at such a young age, then, cool. Like, that's you. But I don't think you should be doing that. I don't think you should be doing that because we all have different paths. Bedri's only just beginning. He's also a very important part of the team right now, and you can really tell because of how much they're marketing him and how much, he just really loves the team and how much he goes out there and plays for the badge. And so does Phil Foden. Don't get me wrong. They both do that. They play for their badge and they play for the team. That's the important thing, is that we have to remember it's a team. So even if someone is around the same age as you, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to, oh, my brother. You maybe have a brother, sister, cousin, friend who's the same age as you, and he's accomplishing way more than you at your age. And you're like, damn, man. Like, why can't I be doing that? You're like, why can't I do that? Well, the thing is, you can. And you are. You're doing what you like to do. That's the important thing. What you like to do. Not what they want. Not what your friend wants. Not what your cousin wants. Not what your brother wants. Not what your sister wants. Not what they're doing with what they want. They're doing what they want. But you have to do what you want to do. That's the important thing, because you have your own path. So when you compare yourself to others, you're comparing your path to another path of someone else. But we don't have the same path. Someone's path might be slow and steady, really easy, and someone's path might be like this. Someone's path might be like this. We all have very, very different paths in life. And so I just think it really takes away from us as individuals when we start comparing ourselves to one another. And we really shouldn't be doing that. We do that so much as human beings and as people. We compare so many things, and it's like, why? I just sit there and I'm like, why are we doing this? It's taking away from our individuality when we start to do that. Like, you might compare, we love to compare athletes, we love to compare actors, we love to compare musicians, we love to compare artists, we love to compare everything under the sun. Shoes, your hair, your clothes, your skin, everything. But we have to understand, at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all human. We all want similar things. We all want one thing at the end of the day, and that's just to be ourselves. So I think the real biggest message I'm trying to send is to not compare yourself with anyone else, because that's doing yourself a disjustice. Don't compare yourself to an athlete that's successful right now, because one time he was just like you. Don't compare yourself to a musician, because at one point he was just like you. We are all the same. We all just have different paths. So once you understand that your path is different from everyone else's, I think that's when you'll really find that, you're going to do what you like, do what you love. Your heart, whatever you want to do in life, no matter what it is. People might tell you it's stupid, but if you think it's good, and you think it's, if you think it's going to help the world, then do it. I'm not trying to promote anything bad. I want to promote that you do whatever it is that you love and you think can make, even if it doesn't help the world, if it's helping you, making you happy, do what makes you happy. And once you figure out what makes you happy, you try to figure out how you can show the world that. And you're going to do just fine. So Yeah, stop comparing yourselves to other people. Stop comparing athletes to other athletes. Stop comparing musicians to other musicians. Stop comparing people, bro. Stop comparing people to you, to others, and just be you and let people be them. That's all I have. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good night, good afternoon, good rest of your day, rest of your night, good week, all of that. Later.